Kill Bill is one of my favorite movies of all time. And every year on a random day, I watch both Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. For years, Quentin Tarantino, who's the director of the Kill Bill movies, had talked about a possibility of doing Volume 3 of Kill Bill. And the logical story in my head is Beatrice Kiddo, who's played by Uma Thurman, being hunted down by Frenetta Green's daughter, and instead of it being Kill Bill Volume 3, it would be Kill Beatrice.
When you grow up, if you still feel raw about it, I'll be waiting.
Page web headliners, column 1 or 2, we will win game 2. Back off. We will win game 2.
In 2019, I suggested that the best person to cast as Vivica Fox, aka Frenetta Green's daughter, for the role was Zazie Beetz. As you can see on the tweet I posted, the daughter in the original movie and Zazie Beetz look just alike. Zazie Beetz was an up-and-coming name, and she was still doing the show Atlanta at the time. Now, Tarantino is never making another Kill Bill type of movie since he's in his retirement era, but this movie, They Will Kill You, is the next best thing for me. I watched They Will Kill You, and it was almost everything I wanted in a Zazie Beetz action comedy movie.
I am in a forgiving mood. Who the fuck are you?
If you don't know, They Will Kill You is about this woman named Asia Reeves who Zazie Beetz plays, and she's been in jail for 10 years. When Asia is finally released from jail, she goes to a mysterious hotel in New York to work as a housekeeper. The hotel has a lot of residents who are rich and keep the status quo of what is going on in the world. Asia discovers that the hotel is not ordinary, but a hotel full of residents who are a part of a cult. So now Asia is trying to find a way to escape from the cult hotel before they try to sacrifice her. They Will Kill You is a movie you should not take seriously, and if you watch any blaxploitation movie, that should be the case. You shouldn't go into They Will Kill You and expect a realistic vibe. This movie is mostly action, the plot is very simple, it is bloody, and it's a B-tier type of action flick. They Will Kill You surprisingly has twists that I did not expect, and it is most likely that I've watched one trailer from the movie, but the twists were good and typical. They Will Kill You is a blaxploitation movie, and you can tell from the choices the filmmakers made with everything on screen. Now, blaxploitation movies have been around since the 1960s, and they're basically reparations from Hollywood because of the misrepresentation and mockery we had around that time. Hollywood did blackface, Aunt Jemima jokes, Uncle Sam jokes, the magical Negro, and other misfortunes that spit in the face of black people. So with blaxploitation movies, they were for black people who finally got their story told. The themes that blaxploitation movies usually tackle are about urban neighborhoods, drugs, crime, and inequality amongst other races. My pops is older, so I remember him watching Shaft on screen, and that was the main blaxploitation movie. Not only was the Shaft black-led, but it also talked about black ideology, politics, and social issues that they had around that time. After those prime years of blaxploitation movies, people have created some of the best movies being influenced by that genre, like Set It Off, every Quentin Tarantino movie, and even shows outside the United States, like recently this anime show called Jujutsu Kaisen. They Will Kill You is one of those movies that exist because of blaxploitation. From the trailers, I thought They Will Kill You would already be crazy, but after seeing the movie, it exceeded my expectations. Now, recently I watched both Ready or Not and Ready or Not 2 Here I Come. Both of those movies are really solid. It was entertaining, it's satire, but nobody has powers or anything. Both Ready or Not and They Will Kill You are similar because both plots surround a cult of rich people in these big establishments that the main characters are trying to escape from. Ready or Not has a ghost Satan that explodes other rich people who sign on with him who don't do his bidding. I already thought that was ridiculous when I saw the Ready or Not movies. They Will Kill You tops Ready or Not in its insanity. Without spoiling anything, in the first 15 minutes of the movie, you will definitely understand what type of movie you are watching and just lock in. The first kill in the movie establishes how crazy They Will Kill You is, and goes even further as the movie goes on. So every logical sense you put into They Will Kill You needs to be shut down. The action in They Will Kill You was the biggest highlight of the movie, and every kill was creative. The marketing team for They Will Kill You made sure that out of everything that was shown in the trailers and ads, the action was the selling point of this movie. They even had a warning sign during one of the ads about how gruesome some of the action scenes will be in They Will Kill You. I can tell you that the action did live up to the hype of the trailers. This movie made Zazie Beetz so lethal that she's basically unstoppable with her skill set, but at the same time, she has limitations. In the first action scene, you see Zazie Beetz in the bedroom trying to sleep. Then you have the cults trying to gang up on her, and she was strategic with her fighting skills. Zazie uses a mattress to protect herself, has a sword in her closet, and uses any type of object in the room to use as a weapon against these cults that are trying to attack her. When Zazie struggles against the cults, it is great and it adds tension to the movie. So the kills that Zazie executes in this movie had me engaged in the movie. Kirill Sakharov, who's the director of They Will Kill You, was inspired by Quentin Tarantino. And it's not just because they're both inspired by blaxploitation cinema, but also by certain aesthetics you will see in the movie. They Will Kill You has a lot of shots that are similar to Quentin movies, to the point where it was too close to being those movies. Quentin is known for showing feet in his movies, and he's known for having a foot fetish. Every movie that Quentin has directed or produced, he shows feet, including his most infamous scene in From Dusk Till Dawn. So They Will Kill You shows Zazie Beetz' feet a few times, and there was a scene where one of the cult people was sneaking into Zazie's bed and started licking her feet. I was like, alright now, is Quentin Tarantino directing this movie? It's getting ridiculous. The only thing in They Will Kill You that I'm happy they didn't do what the Tarantino movies are doing is excessively saying nigga, which I really appreciate. So Sakharov took a lot from Tarantino and his aesthetics, so I'm curious if the other movies he made before this are similar. Zazie Beetz I always appreciated, and not because she's a beautiful woman, which she is, but I think she's a really good actress. In the show Atlanta as Vanessa, I thought she carried herself acting wise just as much as Donald Glover, Lakeith Stanfield, and Brian Tyree Henry. When I watched Zazie in Deadpool 2 as Domino, that's what inspired me to say, hey, Zazie Beetz would be great doing action in a Tarantino movie. And They Will Kill You is that. Zazie's performance in They Will Kill You is interesting because she acts like herself but has the mannerisms of John Wick when she has to give dialogue. There's a scene when Zazie as Asia Reeves confronts the owner of the hotel, who's played by Patricia Arquette, and while Patricia yells out, "Who are you?" Zazie's like, "I'm Asia Reeves, yada yada yada." It reminded me of John Wick saying, "Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back." So I thought Zazie was good in this movie with the action and intentionally being stiff with the dialogue, sometimes with the vibe of the movie. I also thought the rest of the cast were cool for the most part, but I wanted to acknowledge the few people in the cast. First, it's Tom Felton, aka Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter. When I see him, I always think about the series, and you can see that he can play that smug person he always played in his career, from Harry Potter to the Planet of the Apes films to They Will Kill You as one of the rich cult people. Maya is in this cast as well, and I don't want to spoil who she is in the movie because they don't reveal it in the trailer, but once you see the movie, it's pretty obvious who she is supposed to be. I'll just say the role they gave Maya was pretty well cast, and she's good in the movie, but I just wish they commit to a choice in the movie with her, and that's all I'll say. Harmony from Severance, Patricia Arquette, is in the movie as well as one of the owners, and she's alright here. But the one standout for me, besides Zazie Beetz obviously, was Patterson Joseph, who's the husband of Patricia in the movie, and I thought he was really good in the movie as the person helping Zazie escape from the hotel. I really had fun watching They Will Kill You in theaters, but I do have a few issues with the movie that held me back from loving the movie. One of the few things I hate when watching a movie or television show is when they do more telling instead of showing you what is going on in the story. They Will Kill You did a lot of telling that was unnecessary. Now the soundtrack to They Will Kill You I enjoyed. Doechii and I forgot the other songs, but that was the only artist I knew when I was thinking of the soundtrack they put out. Now it wasn't Doechii's song, but one of the songs that would involve the word devil. Anytime we see a statue, picture, or even mention of the devil, they have to put a devil title song on and say, look, that's Satan. And I'm like, we get it. My other issue is that the filmmakers make certain choices that I thought were interesting and then later would result in a safe resolution. And I'm just sitting here saying, come on, commit to a choice you made and stick with it. So those were frustrating problems I had with the movie for the most part. They Will Kill You is a movie where if you love seeing a badass, beautiful black woman beat up and escape rich people for 2 hours, this is for you. This movie reminded me of so many movies that are and were influenced by the blaxploitation movies that were made in the late 60s, 1970s with its themes about the rich taking advantage of the poor, and they handled the satire, the comedy, over-the-top action, and themes that you can relate to in real life. I will say if you're not into the things I've listed, especially with everything being over the top and dark, then this movie is probably not for you. I'm really happy Zazie Beetz found a movie she can lead in for once instead of being a supporting character, and hopefully you go out and see it. If you go to the movies every week and are trying to find something to watch and just have a good time by yourself with a date or whatever, I would recommend They Will Kill You. Nothing is coming out this week anyway besides Project Hail Mary, so go ahead and check it out.